Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
I do think in certain situations.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Going on today?
It's not as overt as they used to be in the past. However, it's more systemic, institutionalized. For example, we see a lot of police brutality. For example, we see injustices in the courts, in the penal system, education. It's hard to measure it. However, we know it's very apparent and still exists in America.
Yes, I've faced it on several occasions. I have.
Can you give me an example of one?
Well, standing in line, there was time when I was standing in line and there were those who were even behind me and they would serve them first. And I experienced quite a bit of it on my job where they would promote certain individuals over others and I had to work a long time before I was promoted. You know. When it comes to promotion on the job, a lot of time you're looked over.
I was approximately 16 years old. I was working at a golf course in a very affluent neighborhood. And one night, me and my friend Ivan, we were closing up. Someone called the police on us, and the police came and was asking what were we doing, and we explained that we worked there and that we were locking up. And one of the questions that the police asked us, he said, "Who else's wallet do you have in your pocket?" And it was just a very, crushing statement, like, hey, we're working, we're not harming anybody. And so that was just a wake-up call for me at the age of 16.
Even though racism is obvious in the US, as seen on the news or social media, some people still don't believe it's happening.
All I eat is fried chicken and watermelon. I'm good at basketball, and I don't have a father.
You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Black people, I'ma steal your shoes. You better hide your wallet, cause I'ma take that too. Black people. Hey. Black people, one big family with a really big bucket of KFC. Black people.
It upsets me because people, they always think these things, and then when you're different, they expect you to be what those stereotypes, what society has told them what you are.
I think people need to be educated. I think people need to be educated, and I think there need to be some coming together of all the different nationalities, and I think education and this thing is important too.
A lot of it derived from slavery, where we put each other down, and we still do that in order to gain favor with other people, other nationalities, and our own people too. In order to feel good about myself, I have to put you down or cut you down when it's not even necessary. When we should all be together.
It's a travesty, especially when you see young men and women being gunned down by the police and out of fear. A lot of times, the use of that type of force wasn't necessary, and in some pockets of the United States, they seem to deem this behavior as being okay or normal police activity. However, the force that they use in a lot of the cases could have been avoided. It could have ended a lot better than they did.
I think it's unfortunate. Police are humans. We're not robots, and sometimes we make decisions that have to be made quickly. Sometimes we don't make the right decision, Is our heart in the right place when we make those decisions? I like to think so, for the most part. And then the persons who do make bad decisions, I hope that we recognize those things early in their career so that we can get them out of our career, so that they don't put us on television. Because you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? You know, if you have a chain that's got links as fat as my finger, but you got one that's as thin as a needle, you know, how strong is your chain? It's only as strong as that littlest link, right? If you get a group of men and women who have the links are heavy and good, you got a strong, you know, support there, right?
Yes.
So we like to get rid of those weak links and get them out of our business, because we're all just as offended as everyone else. When we see somebody on TV who's done something ridiculous or criminal, we're embarrassed by that, because we know that we're only as good as our worst person.
Well, I don't really know much about it. However, I think it is a conscious effort to bring these issues to the forefront. It's our First Amendment right to speak, and as Americans, we have the right to uphold our constitutional rights by expressing our dissatisfaction and expressing the suppression that a lot of communities are facing. So I think that they're courageous to bring these issues to the light. And am I a part of the Black Lives Matter? No, but do I agree, or do I understand what they're doing? I would say yes. I think what they're doing is very important.
Well, I'm not quite sure as to what their objective, but I do know that all life matters, but what I don't like about it is there are those who attach themselves to that organization and they begin to incite violence, and so something that could have a good purpose can end up going awry when you get the wrong elements involved.
You think the All Lives Matter movement was used to undermine the Black Lives Matter movement?
I think their intentions weren't to undermine the Black Lives Matter movement. I think it was to say, hey, regardless of what color, all lives matter, which I do agree. However, I think the difficulty of this is the percentages of African American males that are being violently killed by police brutality is astronomical. It makes no sense. And a lot of times people might say, well, they deserved it, or they shouldn't have been. No, a lot of times, a lot of these citizens that were gunned down were law-abiding citizens.
Lately, we've had a rise in police brutality, and as a community, we've had protests, good and bad ones. These protests have brought awareness to these issues, but are they actually fixing the problem? It's hard to change our elders' biased opinion, but it is possible to change how the next generation thinks. In order to change these stereotypes towards the African American community, it has to start with us. The African American community needs to teach their kids to refrain from stereotypes about Black people. That going beyond the stereotypes does not mean they are not Black enough or Oreo. We also should take a stand to gang violence, especially Black on Black crime. We already have a stereotype of thugs and criminals, which is not helping. If we have Black gang members killing innocent Black kids and people because they wore the wrong colors or etc., and go on with life and not make a stand, it shows what respect we have for our own community. Why all of a sudden does it become a big issue when an officer kills an innocent kid or person? It is said, how you treat yourself will be how others treat you. Changing how Black people are viewed and taking a stand to gang violence and Black on Black crime could be a step in the right direction for Black people. We can spread this message through social media since it has such a big effect on all people today. Let's change our future. Let's make the new Black.